Starting at the bottom left of Frost, we have now in our first best of 3 here at the Winamax Expresso Invitational the Protoss player for Team Alien Invasion, and this is of course Kr. He's going up against the Terran today. Starting to the bottom right of the map, we have his opponent for Team Mousesports. It is HeroMarine here in the finals. It is a best of 3, and let's see who's going to be able to put the first point onto the scoreboard for his team today. HeroMarine for Mousesports here, the Terran player, and it's actually the only... Well, I actually think we have another Terran player coming on later on today when Vortex is going to play. He's going up against Revenge, and if I'm not mistaken, Hazorps will have to deal with Patience, whereas in game number 2 we're going to see a Zerg versus Zerg today with Starbuck having to deal with Golden, if I'm not mistaken. Starbuck actually doing quite a great job in another team series just recently, and I have to say that his playstyle was very refreshing, was really quite something to behold. But now we have a completely different matchup. This time we have no Zerg participating here. And one of the things that we of course have to mention as well is that in case you haven't got the news, we do not have Dia in the lineup of Mousesports anymore. He left the team a few weeks ago, and therefore they can't rely on his strength in this particular final today. Currently what we see here, we already have Gateway, Gas taken. On the other side of the map, HeroMarine opening things up with the barracks here and going straight on the refinery. The German play here most likely going to open things up with the Reaper and getting some scouting information on the big 4-player map that we have here. With all the new maps in the pool right now, there was already a little bit of a change that we saw on a lot of the maps of how players open up, but here in Frost, one of the maps that we've had for quite some time like now, players really have their solid openings and what they really like to do here. So let's see what exactly we have currently with the HeroMarine going on there. Reaper already started, and of course the first SCV is already on the map. Gonna find out exactly where Chris spawns, finds the first spot here, and the Reaper is gonna follow things up. And so far for Krill, what we actually do not see, we have a Chrono Boost once again on the Nexus, but we do not have any kind of unit that he's currently producing. He's really waiting for the Cybernetics core to just get done and then start things off with Mothership core, and of course also the Stalker right away, not producing a single Zealot here or anything else. The SCV already with a quick look in the main base, and that triggers actually the Zealot being produced here. Now he was spotted on the first location. The one thing that he was really hoping for was that his opponent wouldn't scout him right away. But as it happens, HeroMarine already on the way, and the Alien Invasion player here trying to put his own Nexus into position, but the SCV for a little bit lingering around here and blocking the spot. So well done by HeroMarine, being a little bit annoying, and let's see how Kr is going to be able to deal with that. We already have the Reaper jumping into the main base, trying to do some damage here. There's currently nothing that can really defend. He needs to wait for the Mothership coin. It's going to be out any second. There it is, but maybe one of the probes going down. No, not quite. Gets the shield off of 2 of them and a few hit points as well. If he's able to sneak in later on once more, then he might be able to do the damage and finally take down a few of the workers here. But for now, it's only about the harass and getting the scouting information of the game. Whereas we have Command Center now on the low ground, of course, also being built for HeroMarine. Spotted the next of his opponent already earlier. And we have him with a very early engineering bay for the +1 attack upgrade that we see here. So might try to do some damage in the early game, even adding the second barracks already. Whereas to the left side of the map, we have the Reaper still going ham there a little bit, trying to find an opening in a spot where he might be able to sneak in. And actually, he might be able to pull that off. For now, we have Kr in the main base, also with a tech. That's, of course, what HeroMarine really wants to see. He wants to see that Twilight Council. He wants to know that there is the potential of DTs, the potential of Blink, and especially on a map like, just be careful here with the Reaper. I don't think that he's gonna survive, maybe just barely, and wow, gets away with 4 hit points. Combat drugs in the end are of course going to heal him up once again. That's always going to be handy for him. Bunker here at the front already being built for HeroMarine, and for him it's really important to identify what he's up against. And there's a huge commitment by Kr to the Blink build. Then he needs a couple of additional bunkers all the way back at home, and would also do very well with a few Marauders. There's already the upgrade started. And HeroMarine himself in the main base with double barracks so far, getting a couple of Marauders in here, trying to go for the concussive shell. And that upgrade first is usually something that you get when you really want to apply some pressure. You move out onto the map and you say like, hey, if there's a Stalker and I get a shot off with my single Marauder that I have here, then I can take down the Stalker, get an early lead in the game. And that's exactly kind of what you want to do. But at this point, he doesn't really know what he's up against, and the problem with the early concussive shell is that he does therefore not gets his stim first. Big problem for him maybe if there is a commitment by Kr. And as it happens, we have now more and more gateways already being built. And that Reaper definitely getting the scouting information off that he needs. He sees everything, and that should trigger a few... yeah, there we go. Not only the stim upgrade, but at the same time, it's also going to trigger a couple of additional bunkers. There's like no doubt about that. There's bunker number 2 already. What he also needs is a few bunkers on the high ground, and that's not going to be easy for him, because he can't really like... get this entire surface area here covered by bunkers, so you have to keep them a little bit farther to the back. And there it is already, number 1 on the high ground, the second one on the low ground being built. And it's a big problem actually for Terran players, or it was for a long time, to deal with this. And the biggest problem was really that the Protoss can always just fall back. He doesn't really have to commit. He has that huge threat looming over the Terran player's head, like a Damocles sword, but at the same time he can always just pull back and say like, yeah, I'm gonna take you a little bit, I'm gonna apply some pressure, and if you overcommit to your defense, I will still be ahead. I can't just follow things up. For example, with the double forge, which is exactly what we see from Krr. He's not gonna commit to this. He has the means to do it, but he doesn't. And he also starts with his additional tech, robotics facility, robotics bay, so he's starting the double upgrades here, and HeroMarine is currently none the wiser. So he doesn't really know what's going on. He's of course aware that that might be the case here and has to play it careful, but it's always a big threat that we see there. And HeroMarine now already scanning, trying to get a quick glimpse at that natural there as well. He wants to know what kind of saturation we have here at the mineral line. He wants to see if he can maybe detect a couple of additional buildings. That gives him a hint of what exactly is going on. And by now, he's probably already well aware that there won't be a huge commitment since he hasn't seen anything. Like, he's moving out with the single SCV, trying to find at least that pylon here at the front, and he did, but he didn't see any units whatsoever. So by now he knows what's happening here, and he knows that the don't has to be afraid of any kind of massive blink in anytime soon. For Krr, on the other hand, we have the robotics facility done, and he's also going for the double upgrades here and the double forge with the chrono boost as well, using that from both of his Nexi, as you can see. And another thing that we currently have too is in his main base, of course, that extended thermal lance upgrade started for those Colossi. The pylon here at the front is going down. There's no way to save that for now. And if we just take a look at the units in total, and of course also the supply in particular, we have currently 46 army supply against 30 for HeroMarine. The worker supply is in favor of the Protoss player, and that gives HeroMarine definitely the option to try and do some pressure. But the problem is really that with the photon overcharge and everything else that we currently have for the Protoss player, it's going to be very tricky for HeroMarine to get any damage done there. We currently have the units just walking in there still without the combat shield, so he still has to be careful. Photon overcharge will definitely be baited out here. And there it is already. Nice time warp, maybe able to snipe 1 or 2. Yes, gets 2 of those Marauders, and he moves in with the Colossus against the Marines. The stim has already been used. We do not have any medevacs for the support here. They are currently being built, but HeroMarine all the way back at home is still going for a third command center and not really pressing the issue. What I really like about HeroMarine's play already is that he has a Marine sent out across the map, and it's just making sure that there is no hidden expansion. If you start at the same side of the map on Frost, that's definitely something that you can pull off. And we've seen that in the past, and it has led to a couple of victories for our player because the opponent didn't really know that there was another base and was just working on the wrong assumptions. So right now, HeroMarine is making sure that he knows exactly what's going on here. And Krr, using the time that he has to go into the Templar Archive, +2/+2 is on the way. He has that upgrade lead here that he really wants as a Protoss player, trying to hit that timing. Is going into the 2-2 much faster. Right now they're actually on even upgrades, but the 2-2 is of course going to hit for him before it will for HeroMarine, and that will give him an edge. HeroMarine by now starting to get his anti-air into the game and getting the Vikings to deal with the Colossi. Really important for him since the Colossi are the key unit against the Bio army, at least for now. Later on when that Storm upgrade is completed, High Templars are of course also going to be a huge factor. And we have a double drop headed into the main base while HeroMarine is trying to do some damage all the way at the front and going for that third. But that drop here might take down at least those warp gates. Here comes the stim that we've been waiting for. Gets those 2 pylons, and that will immediately not only supply block Krr, but also make sure that his production is severely reduced. So he needs to be super careful. Another drop on the other side of that natural, and that third base. Once again, the Bio force is moving in, and here comes HeroMarine doing a really good job trying to attack his opponent at 3 fronts, but at the same time, Krr is still defending. He lost a couple of structures here in the main base, no doubt about that, but nothing too critical just yet. He still has control of his third base. He didn't have to cancel it, it wasn't killed, and we have HeroMarine now with a third on his own on the other hand. So at this point, the 2-2 also completed for Kr, and if you paid attention to that, he will most likely start his 3-3 very soon. HeroMarine still working with a single engineering bay, so he's a lot slower than his opponent. There's the 3-3 that we talked about, 5 additional gateways, a nice scan on the observer. He sees that move and immediately takes it out with a good scan. Very well done. Doesn't fall into a trap of just trying to medevac onto the high ground and then get feedback with the high Templars that would have zapped those two medevacs immediately. Ghosts, on the other hand, are now starting to become a part of HeroMarine's composition, since he already identified those storms, of course. Well, let's be a little bit careful with the drop here, and the Blink Stalkers blinking forward, trying to get the drop. They don't even get a single one. Well done here by HeroMarine, saving those. And just looking at the numbers of Vikings that we have, it's 7 for now. Oh wow, the Colossi actually exposed here. He's trying to chase them down. Not quite able to do so, but there's no anti-air, so the Vikings can attack this unhindered, and immediately Mothership Core goes down. The last Colossus being attacked as well. Kr is starting to struggle a little bit, but those Zealots with the 2-2 upgrades are starting to push the Bioforce of HeroMarine back. Resources, nice snipe on that medevac here. Blinks down with the 2 Stalkers that he has, and takes down the medevac that was already very low in HP. So job well done by Kr, but HeroMarine with a decent attack here. Resources lost, very similar for both of them. It's just the upgrades that become a very, very big issue in this game. Because at this point we have HeroMarine still on a +1 armor upgrade. He has the +2 attack, but he's going up against a 2-2 Protoss player who's about to finish his 3-3. Even a 4th base now coming up for Kr. And once the 3-3 is done, if out, that could be devastating for HeroMarine. One of the big pluses here for the Terran player is that he was able to snipe all those Colossi. That was a very, very important move. Kr, with a little bit of a lackluster unit control there, apparently didn't realize that those Colossi were very exposed. There were not a lot of Stalkers for the anti-air. There still are not a lot of Stalkers for the anti-air. So it's not like he can immediately snipe the Vikings. And it was very just well done by HeroMarine getting those Vikings into a good position and push his opponent back. But now it's all about this massive amount of Zealots that we have here. 33 in total, and of course supported by a couple of Archons. We also have the charge upgrade, as you might imagine, and we see another base for Kr, as mentioned before. So if he is able to do some damage, maybe even kill the 3rd base of his opponent and establish himself a 4th, that would be horrible for the Terran player. Mouse forwards, HeroMarine might be in some trouble here. He's moving in again. There's only one Colossi. All those Vikings, are they going into assault mode? Yes, they are, trying to participate in the battle, and at the same time, the Zealots are still trying to take down everything at the 3rd base, moving in against the Terran army now on the ground, and Kr is taking a massive lead in overall supply. The alien invasion player doing a great job here on the first map. Suddenly 40 supply in the lead with 4 bases to back this up, and he just pushes HeroMarine back. HeroMarine doing his best, trying to still hold on to the high ground, but he already lost a couple of Harvesters here against his opponent. 19 in total. The Harvester count now highly in favor of the Protoss player, pushing it once again and making sure that HeroMarine has a very tough time in its first game. A 30 supply lead for Kr. The alien invasion Protoss is just doing all the right moves here. He's playing a great game, and the medevac's already out of energy. They can't really heal with Fire Force anymore. Every stim hurts right now, and there's still very little binding going on at that 3rd base. The Natural suddenly being attacked, but there's just way too much pressure. HeroMarine cracks under it, and the first game goes to Kr in the best of 3 series here at the Winamax Expresso Invitational.